Hey, I'm Eli.
I'm Andy.
This is the first episode of our unnamed soccer podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, since we've never done a podcast before, I guess we should introduce ourselves. I'm Eli. I'm an American, and I'm an Arsenal fan.
And I'm Andy, and I'm a Newcastle fan, and I'm also American. Right.
I guess we should just get right into the the first topic, which would be the PFA Player Awards, which came out this week.
Last week.
Last last week, whatever, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. So, Player of the Year was Salah.
Yep.
Do you, does anyone have any issues with that?
Nope.
No. What he score? What's he at like right now in the Premier League? 31, something like that.
Yeah.
I believe he's one off the Premier League record.
No, it's 34.
34.
It's Shearer and
So,
Cole.
but he's right. He's right there basically. So he's basically had the best season we've really seen in a Premier League season in a good while, 5-10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since, well, probably better than Suarez at this point.
Yeah.
Young Player of the Year, Leroy Sané.
I also don't have a problem with that.
I don't really know who else you would go to.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles is
Anyone who's saying Rashford is
stupid.
wrong.
What is the qualifying thing for Young Player of the Year? Do you have to be a certain
your
age?
I don't know. I mean, I'd probably like cut it off at like 22 or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Ali
Sane's at probably like 14, 15 goals, and I think he registered his
He's 20, right?
10th assist.
19 or 20.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's been a good season for him.
yeah. I don't think there's really any argument that he deserves that.
No.
And if it wasn't him, it'd probably just be another Man City player anyways. So Sterling, maybe. Does he register?
I don't think he counts. He's like 23 now.
Jesus.
He's been all right.
Yeah. But anyway, the actual team of the season by each position: De Gea, Man U. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Duh.
I disagree actually.
Really?
I think Ederson. Even though I hate Man City and I
See, I don't know, because Man City's backline is a little bit better than Man U's.
well yeah, but
And they've had some crap defensive showings this season, and De Gea has been there to save them
okay, that's
on multiple
true.
occasions.
But in terms of like actual value to the team, De Gea might be higher, but I think Ederson's been better in terms of like overall goalkeeper performance because De Gea can play with his feet, but Ederson has had. You've seen some games he's had more touches and more passes than players. I remember that Everton game where they completed like something like 4 times as many passes as Everton at.
Well, that's
Ederson.
kind of just a result of Man City as a team, less of Ederson as a player, and that they get everybody involved. And Man U's more like.
I guess that's true. And Ederson has made a few horrible mistakes with his feet that have led to stupid goals for City. I think actually against Everton, one of them happened.
Yeah.
So,
Kyle Walker.
the right backs.
I mean,
I can't even think of any others other than Burnley's right backs were
who's
kind
right?
of inconsistent.
Loughton.
Loughton, the other one who only played for.
Some people would argue
weeks.
Valencia, which is
That's stupid. He also isn't a consistent starting right back. I mean, what else do you have? You have
Valencia is.
consistent starting like quality right backs. You have what, Zabaleta, maybe.
No.
I mean, he's been decent for West Ham.
No.
Okay, well then, other than that, you would have like Bellerin, and Bellerin has been terrible this season.
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Yeah.
Otamendi. I mean, there's so many center backs.
Oh no, this is an obvious. This is the obvious wrong decision.
Yeah.
Tarkowski.
Yeah, I mean, there's
has
lots
to
of
be
the.
Tarkowski.
I mean, the thing is that, what, this is player voted, right?
Oh, I believe so.
So
yes.
they're gonna choose him. I mean,
Otamendi he's not a very good like one-on-one center back though. He's good in a system like City, but he's not great when he's being charged at by a quality dribbler.
Yeah.
And I just think Tarkowski's young. Tarkowski is working in a much harder team. I just think Tarkowski is a better player.
Personally, I believe that you could put a lot of back lines into Sean Dyche's team and they would perform that well.
But Tarkowski was the best member. He was
the best member of the Burnley backline. I mean, I might argue Lascelles, but let's save that for.
If you were doing like
time.
a young PFA team of the year, I would put Lascelles in as center back.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, I'm not gonna start talking about Lascelles because I have a lot to say.
Vertonghen. I really don't know. Tottenham's back line has been really inconsistent this year and constantly injured and all that stuff. I mean, you got.
No, I mean Vertonghen's been healthy most of the season.
Yeah, which is why
was the one who was out.
Yeah, I know. Which I'm saying that's why.
Yeah, you can credit him for holding it together, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Alonso. I mean, you know how I feel about Alonso. I think that he's he's a really good attacking player.
Not a good defender.
He's a good wing back, but he's not really a left back at all. I mean,
well, okay, I agree with that, but I was looking at everyone else's teams. There are no good left backs in the Premier League.
Hey, Paul Dummett.
Paul Dummett does
season.
Not deserve that.
Yeah, but he's had a great season.
I would argue Monreal, because he's been just as inconsistent as Alonso has in their.
Nice. That's good.
Monreal's been really good when he's played.
And the thing is, Monreal can defend.
Yeah, and that's why I think he deserves a left back spot over Marcus Alonso. But of course, if you don't include wing backs in with left backs, then how is someone like Alonso ever gonna make a PFA Team of the Year? Because he's not gonna make it as a winger.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Silva, I think, is an easy choice. Really, I mean, he hasn't been like a visibly standout player for Man City, but like he's in all the teams, and he's like, you say KDB is behind everything, but I mean he's there every time they win 5-0 or whatever, and he's making plays and all that stuff. Yeah. So I think that's fair.
He's really the heart of their team. I think more De Bruyne is like the flashiness in terms of playmaking.
De Bruyne is the last touch before the goal.
Yeah, Silva's the guy who starts the build up.
Yeah. So that's definitely fair. Eriksson, I mean,
I haven't watched very many Tottenham games.
Me neither, but I mean he's had an above average season.
I've heard he's
for
done
sure.
Well. Last year when I watched him, he was amazing.
I mean, looking at his numbers compared to Ali's, they're pretty similar. But if you think about like,
I fucking hate Dele Alli.
Right, but if we're talking consistency, Eriksson's considerably more consistent. I looked at Son to see if there was any comparison there. The difference between Eriksson and Son is that Son took about 10 matches to finally get started up, and he's had a great season since then. But when Tottenham has a bad day, Son has a bad day.
Yeah, that's true.
And that doesn't go for Eriksson.
Yeah, Eriksson, I would argue, is probably one of the best center mids in the world at this point in his career.
Yeah, and he's so versatile. Versatile, is that right?
Yeah.
He can play on the wings as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's I think he does that some for Denmark.
Yeah, and sometimes he'll scoot over for Ollie. But De Bruyne,
that's such an easy choice.
There's not a lot to say about that.
He's probably the only other person that could have gotten PFA Player of the Year other than Salah. But that's still.
I mean, I think there's an argument for De Bruyne to be Player of the Year. I just saw there was a stat that came out a couple days ago that Salah's missed the most he's missed 21 clear-cut chances, which is more than anyone else.
Well, to be fair, if Morata played every game this year...
That's true. But there's an argument to be made that Salah scoring so much was because of his service, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true that Firmino is definitely behind Salah.
Yeah, so there's an argument there, but I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah.
Salah's
we've already talked about.
On the Team of the Year.
Kane.
Kane and Aguero are the only strikers that you can really put in there. I mean, Firmino's had a great season, but Aguero missed a bunch of games and still came out with 22 goals or something like that.
He's one of the best players to ever play in the Premier League.
That's
so good.
And it's apparently that's the first time he's ever made a Team of the Season, which is kind of confusing to me.
Absurd.
But he probably deserves that. And Kane. Kane just has the same. Kane just has the same season every season, and it's always a great one. So I mean, at the beginning, people were questioning things because he has the August curse or whatever, but he's got 24 goals, 20 something at this point.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and then all the other strikers, top 6 strikers, you got Lukaku's, who was he wasn't. I wouldn't call him a huge flop, but he's not incredibly consistent.
I don't think he fits in that system. Yeah, really. But
who does fit in a Jose Mourinho attacking system, really? No one. Jose Mourinho ruins attackers. I'm telling
David
you.
Villa.
David Villa. Okay.
5 years ago.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, and like you got like a Aubameyang who did really well in this half a season, but you can't give him
Right.
the PFA
He's only
award
been
for
here
that.
for a few months.
Lacazette was fucking terrible.
The exclusion of Sané is fine. I mean, he's had a great season, but the only person you couldn't really make an argument that he'd replace any of these guys.
You could maybe make an argument for him to replace David Silva, I think, but that's not really a winger position.
See, I don't know. I mean, like Sané's
wingers are in this. There isn't really two wingers in it.
Sol's a winger. Ericsson
there's
could
not
argue
two.
so Ericsson could be a winger, but yeah, no, I don't think Sané fits into this.
Okay, the fact that there's no Burnley players in this is bullshit. Though.
I don't. Well, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know about that. Maybe Pope and maybe Tarkowski, but like Burnley was such a team effort this season. It's
okay,
like
if you were making a team of the season outside the top 6, how many Burnley players would be in that? Almost all. You gotta put Gudmundsson in there.
Gudmundsson, Tarkowski, probably Barnes even. I mean that's probably about it really.
Also, I would say that another that you could definitely I've completely forgot about this and I don't know why, but for young player of the year, I think Zaha has to be considered.
He's too old. He's 24, 25
He's
now.
20. I think he's still 20.
Oh,
he might be 24 actually. You're right.
So
I think.
he's 25. So
He's 25.
yeah.
You're right. He's out of consideration.
Not young player of the year, but breakout player of the year. Maybe?
Yeah, he's I mean, he's just been so good. It's a miracle that he's still on Crystal Palace. They really need him. I mean, without him, they look very bad.
Yeah, we'll see what happens over in summer, but
so 7 goalless losses at the beginning of the season.
Well, he was out, right?
Yeah, that's why they were so bad.
They could use him for a while longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on from that, I guess, and talk about the championship.
All right. So, last week Wolves finally won the championship title.
It was inevitable.
They've got 99 points right now.
I think so. Yeah.
They're 10 points ahead of Cardiff, and but they're going into the last day of the season. Just yesterday on Saturday, there was. Well, on Friday, Fulham beat Sunderland 2-1, which kept them in the race for automatic promotion spot. Cardiff beat somebody 2-0, so there's still a race. There's a 1-point difference between Cardiff and Fulham. So that's the last day of the season decider, and there are still 5 teams at the bottom of the table who can avoid relegation.
There's one team who cannot avoid relegation,
which is Sunderland.
Oh,
We'll gloss over that for now.
Hey, Mkhitaryan just scored for Arsenal. But,
nice.
In case you're wondering when we were recording this.
Right. So Reading, Birmingham, Bolton, Burton, Reading, Birmingham, Bolton, Burton, and Barnsley. All the Bs.
All the B teams.
And 4 of those teams are playing the 4 other teams in the league who have something to fight for. So
it's gonna be a great last week.
Yeah,
in the
Birmingham playing Fulham and Reading playing Cardiff. Both of those teams just need a point to stay up.
Okay. Ideally, who would you like to see in the Premier League next year? Obviously,
well,
Wolves. You don't really have a choice about.
Wolves is gonna be up. I mean, I watched Cardiff play a few games. I'm not incredibly excited about them. Fulham. I mean, I like to see my guy Alexander Mitrovic leading them to promotion. That would be
cool.
Beautiful.
I would like to see them back. They haven't been in the Prem in a little while.
But I mean, I'd like to see it. He's never coming back to Newcastle. I've come to terms with that. So if there's any team I'd like to see him with in the Premier League, it would be Fulham. I've heard rumors that if Fulham don't get promoted, Wolves are gonna go after him. I don't
That's
really.
Okay.
I mean, Wolves in my opinion, Wolves are gonna be the next City, and everyone's gonna hate them soon.
Yeah,
I
agree with that. This is the owner Portuguese? He is correct, or is that
Nuno
the
Espirito
manager?
Santo is the Portuguese. The owners are a Chinese conglomerate.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. I mean, there are teams owned by like Leicester's owned by like a Thai conglomerate or something.
There's a few
West Brom's owned by a Chinese conglomerate.
Yeah, it's working out well.
You know, so it doesn't guarantee that they're going to be incredible, but I mean they have turned from a 15th place finish last season to and they've all the players that they've been outstanding this season they've signed this season. Diogo Jota, Ruben Neves, Cavallero. The guy on loan from I'm drawing a blank on his name from the Brazilian on loan from a Saudi club, Afobe. So Afobe's had a very good.
It's just funny to. I think he's just such a championship player. See, when you look up Wolves roster on your phone, it comes up with the different Wolves, the Timberwolves.
Yeah. But they're gonna have a huge budget.
Yeah.
This summer.
They're gonna go out and sign a lot of players.
Yeah, they're gonna sign a lot of players. So I'm not particularly happy about Wolves. And I think Heldercost has been there for a couple years.
Yeah.
Actually, Leo Bonatini is
Rafa
the guy who I
Mir's
was
been good for
talking
them
about.
too, I believe, right?
I've not noticed him. I watched a few Wolves games in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's a little hard to stay.
They look like a Premier League club. I mean, they just do.
You know, it's another thing. It's just glorious as MK Dons.
Yeah, MK Dons are down. If you don't know the story, basically there was Wimbledon FC way back then, and at the beginning of the Premier League, owners decided to move it to Milton Keynes.
They're Americans. They didn't really understand how that you couldn't franchise.
So they moved it to Milton Keynes, and they're like, we'll make more money here because it's a bigger city than the suburb of Wimbledon. You can't just move a club somewhere and expect people to start flocking to it. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. So AFC Wimbledon was formed by the fans. Everyone hates MK Dons, and now Wimbledon are in a higher league than MK Dons. So vengeance, I guess. What do you call it?
Hilarious. It's fantastic.
It's very funny. And then
have you seen Milton Keynes Stadium though? It's a really nice. They have a super nice stadium.
Yeah, but it's like empty head, right?
Yeah.
Back to who's in the playoffs for championship. We've got Villa and Derby and Preston North End are the two teams. The Preston North End and Derby are the two teams like competing for the last spot. Who's in?
Too bad no Millwall. Love to see
Tim
Millwall. Cahill.
Actually,
in the Premier League.
You know, if Derby gets smacked and Millwall wins like 4-0, then it's possible, but it's not gonna happen.
You would all love to see.
Yeah, but anyway, the teams in promotion spots or in the playoff spots right now: Fulham or Cardiff, Villa, Middlesbrough, and Derby or Preston. Yeah, out of those, I mean, depending on what happens with Cardiff. Yeah, depending on what happens with Cardiff and Fulham, if Fulham goes up. I mean, I'd love to see Villa back up in the Premier League.
I didn't really. I felt bad for them, honestly. Most teams you don't really feel bad for when they're getting relegated like the way they did, but I felt pretty bad for them.
They've been pretty lucky in that they've got good ownership, and so they'll. I mean, if they're not up this season, they'll probably be back up next season.
They'll bounce back.
And they're having standout players like Albert Adama had a great season this season. Middlesbrough bore me.
I hate Middlesbrough.
Derby. I watched Derby play Wolves the other week. I don't know a ton about Derby, but
they've got
Mete Vidra.
They've got a guy I always sign in my FIFA careers.
They've got Mete Vidra, the guy who's been everywhere. He played for like Watford and Udinese and all Reading. They've got Joe Ledley. Good old Vyman.
Well,
if you remember Vyman from way back when with Villa.
If Ledley comes up or Cahill comes up, either way, we'll have more Australians in the Premier League, which is
Ledley's Welsh. Ledley's Welsh.
Wait.
Jednak is the...
Yeah, Jednak, right?
Jednak is the
Do they
Australian.
have an Australian? Oh,
damn it. Yeah, so I'd like to see Villa up of all those teams. Yeah. So, I mean, as much as I'd love to talk about Sunderland being relegated, we don't have time for that. So we'll move forward.
We do have time for that, but
we'll
he's
save it for
probably
the end.
Talked about it a lot.
I mean, there's a little bit of room for
Including.
Well, I was going to go the other direction. I was going to say there's a little bit of room for sympathy or empathy, really, because they've had an unfortunate spell of ownership.
Very similar.
Not really, because
they've been sold.
Well, they were just sold this morning.
I did see that actually. Chris Coleman was fired, which is kind of absurd if you ask me.
So they're just trying to have a clean slate. But the thing is that Ellis is like he's not like Ashley in that he's running the club for a business or anything. It's that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Yeah. And so he was panicking in this past year, trying to figure out what to do. He actually paid off all their debt before he sold the club, which I mean is a really great gesture considering it was like 160 million.
Yeah.
So I already thought that they wouldn't fall too far, but they'll probably be up within the next decade at least. They're sold to the
Eastleigh.
Yeah, well, it's a group.
It's called a consortium, I think.
Yeah, consortium led by the owner of Eastleigh. So
I thought that was weird. Eastleigh is a conference side, right?
Or I think they're lower actually, but I don't know.
It's odd.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I'm glad they got relegated. We don't have to play them again for another couple of years.
Yeah,
at least.
I'm happy for him, but I also feel kind of bad for Sunderland fans.
Yeah, whatever, we can move on. You wanna take this?
So next topic, I guess, is probably the biggest thing that happened this week. Probably the biggest thing that's happened in soccer in like 4 years. You want to argue with that?
No, I'm good.
Arsene Wenger announced that he's going to be leaving Arsenal at the end of the season, and while I am super happy about it, the way he did talk about in a press conference, I believe a few days after he announced it, about his reasons for leaving, and he stated that fans were one of his main reasons, which is like that really like rubs me the wrong way, because that I don't like that.
Even as a winger out.
Yeah.
Supporter.
I mean, I wasn't someone who would like go around on social media being like Wenger out, Wenger out.
Right.
I would say that like I wish he would leave, but I wasn't like hating on him, because I didn't think it was really his fault. I thought the players were really just kind of abandoning him. That thing you see with Jose Mourinho at the end of his terms at his clubs, where the players just seem to kind of lose faith.
Wenger's like Mourinho, except he has like a 10 year longer. No, more like 20-year longer stretch that before people get tired of.
Yeah, and I mean his overall, like, as a manager for Arsenal, he did bring Arsenal out of near bankruptcy, which was pretty incredible, while still managing to make the top 4 in the Premier League, which was amazing. But
player dedication too in that.
Yeah,
in that front.
That's true. But overall, as a manager, I mean, you've got what? How many titles in 22 years? 4?
3.
3?
Yeah, but he won them all in a 6-year period, which was
so.
Quality. And he lowest finish is 5th place, right? Or 6th?
6th.
So
no,
it's
wait.
like 1/5 and
we finished 5th last year, so 6. So
it's either 2/5 or 1/5 and 1/6 in 22 years,
yeah.
And all the rest are above that. So it's pretty incredible. Especially if you put it in relative to the time before that, the Arsenal won like 3 or 4 titles total.
Yeah.
In that period, and like 45 years. So
he took us through the Shamrock and Arshavin period.
Hey.
I like Arshavin, but like he's not that good. Yeah. And I mean, he did win an incredible amount of FA Cups, which would have meant more 30 years ago, but unfortunately the competition isn't taken super seriously anymore these days. I mean, he made a lot of great signings.
Yeah.
Throughout the years. I mean, you got Thierry Henry, obviously the biggest one. You got Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
I
mean, Vieira is arguably the best signing in the last 20 years in the Premier League. Yeah. Considering the public reaction when he was signed.
Exactly.
So.
But yeah, I don't like the way he was forced out, and I really think the players kind of let him down, especially because you've got plenty. There was talent in this team to make the top four at the beginning of the season. I mean, everyone thought Lacazette was going to be good, but I mean he was awful. He was just shockingly terrible this season. He's one of the worst signings of the entire season. We can talk about that next week, though. We'll talk about the worst signings.
When it's over.
Yeah.
So Champions League
this week. Roma Liverpool.
Didn't get a chance to watch any of the games, but I
saw dominated Roma almost the entire time, but Roma did put themselves in with a chance with those random 2 goals at the end of the game, which might have saved.
One of them was a pen, right?
Yeah.
But I saw 2 assists and 2 goals for Firmino and Salah.
Yeah.
And then James Milner broke the record for assists in a single campaign with 9. So that's an interesting interesting statistic. Bayern Real. I mean, Real's gonna win.
Yeah, it was
2-1. It was 2-1.
They came from behind. I'll give Bayern credit for that. They were leading for a good portion of the game.
But Real's gonna win.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
We're gonna have a Real Madrid Liverpool final.
Oh my god,
should be interesting.
Roma,
so I get to look in at his new teammates for next season.
Yeah, but I will remind you, Roma were down 4-1 against Barcelona before they came.
That's true.
And they did beat Barcelona at Camp Nou. Wait, no, that was at home. That was definitely at home that they beat them 3-0. Yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah, they wouldn't beat Barcelona at Camp Nou that badly.
But they grabbed that away goal, and that was what got it for them.
And that's exactly what they did against Liverpool. So, guess Europa League, the Thursday night games. I'll talk about the first one.
Yeah, I can talk about Tovin after that.
No, I was going to talk about Marseille.
Because
I have a rant about Arsenal Atletico.
Okay, Marseille won 2-3-0 against Salzburg. I mean, nobody's expecting Salzburg to make the final, but, Florian Tovin, former Newcastle player, now playing for Marseille, having 2 seasons of his career. It either says that we're really good at alienating great players and shipping them elsewhere, or says that Ligue 1 is crap.
I think it says a little bit of both.
Yeah, so...
Ben Arfa.
We don't talk about Ben Arfa.
Sammy Amiobi.
Anyway, let's move on we can move on to the Arsenal.
Okay. Arsenal Atletico Madrid. Yes, how do you pronounce his name? Versalsko?
I think it's Versalico or something.
Versalico with the red, first 10 minutes of the game. First one was we were through on goal, he took him out. You can honestly arguably give him a red for that, but the ref gave him a yellow. Whatever, fine. Then he goes and studs up on Bellerin's ankle. The ball, it looked kind of like he was going for the ball. I will admit that. But I think the severity of his first foul meant he was on really thin ice.
Yeah, you can see the second yellow there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I know people will say that was the reason Arsenal won, but we were dominating them.
Arsenal didn't win.
Okay, Arsenal. That was a win for Arsenal against Atletico.
Yeah.
But we dominated them after that. The entire game, putting in cross after cross, shot after shot. Oblak had 3 or 4 amazing saves that probably saved them from losing to us. But we fucking gave up such a bullshit goal at the end. Because Shelny, when the ball is bouncing, when you have freaking Antoine Griezmann on your back, kick it out. Just don't even bother. You need that 1-0. You need them to not have an away goal. Just freaking boot it out. Don't kick it back against your own face. And then, not only that, but we also got unlucky because Mustafi coming over to block it slipped on the pitch and he would have gotten there. And it was just, it was so frustrating. I was holding my phone in my hand when I did it, and I don't think I remembered that. And when they scored, I threw what was in my hand on the ground and smashed my phone on the ground. Cracked it a little bit, but not that bad. But it was just, oh my.
Basically, God. It's good that Arsenal's resting their entire team today, because they're gonna have to go back to Madrid and perform a miracle.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a miracle. Atletico are remarkably good at parking the bus, in their own home stadium in the Wanda Metropolitano. But I think, yeah, isn't that a great name?
That's a good name.
But yeah, we're gonna have a tough time. But I think we're gonna win second leg 2-0.
I think that's not gonna happen, but it could. I think Atletico's gonna win 1-0, 2-1, something like that. But I mean, even Europa League semis going down to Atletico is all right considering the season that Arsenal's had.
Yeah, I don't
so far.
I don't think it's that bad.
I mean,
the Champions League
whoever wins this game is gonna win.
Yeah.
Unless Marseille comes out with just an amazing performance, they're starting Mitroglou up front, so I don't know.
Dang it! Well, we are screwed if we make it to the final.
But yeah.
I guess we can finish it off by just discussing a few of the Premier League results from this week.
We'll talk about next week too.
Huh?
Talk about next week as well. Going forward, the last 3 matches of the season.
Yeah.
We've got the Palace. They won 5 now?
5-0.
They won 5-0.
I watched that game. Such a dominating performance.
Yeah. Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily keep them up, but it's a huge step toward that.
They're almost mathematically.
And their last 2 fixtures are Stoke and West Brom. West Brom is the last one that probably will have been mathematically relegated by that point.
West Brom will be.
So that should be an easy game, but you can also think 2 years in the past when Newcastle was mathematically relegated on the last game of the season and beat Tottenham 5-1.
Okay, but this is not the same scenario. First of all, this is not Newcastle. This is West Brom, and second of all, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
thank you for that. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. But the teams in the relegation zone now, we've got Southampton at the top, Stoke and West Brom in dead last. There's an escape route for Southampton and maybe Stoke, but that's it. The teams that are in a little bit of trouble are
Huddersfield have slipped into big trouble.
Yeah, so Swansea, Huddersfield, and West Ham, really Swansea, are in some deep shit right now.
Yeah. Swansea actually I think could fall into the relegation zone if Southampton
win
their next game, correct?
Well, and they play both Southampton and Stoke in their last 3 matches.
That Swansea Southampton game. Oh, Swansea Stoke.
Yeah.
That is, man. The Premier League just knew
it could be that the Stoke Swansea game on the last day of the season is what decides it all.
Yeah.
So
that's thrilling. That's the best relegation battle we've had in the Premier League.
Yeah, if we don't have anything at the top, then at least we've got something at the bottom. Right?
Look at the top of the table. There's nothing. There's literally the only thing that could happen is like
the fight for 4th.
Yeah, it's the fight for 4th. Oh, that's actually drawn pretty close, hasn't it? Tottenham do have a game in hand though, and they'll probably win that game, which will just end it basically.
It's the game against Newcastle.
Also, I would like to add Arsenal have a chance of making top 5. So yeah, no, we're gonna do it, and it's gonna happen. I'm 100% certain. We are still tied with United, correct? Right now, yeah. Yeah, we are.
Anyway, Arsenal are going to finish 6th this season. Whatever. Next season, probably finish 6th again. And
they aren't going to. No, they're not going to finish.
And then the meme will be 6 instead of 4.
No, the meme was not even 4. People were saying that meme when we literally finished 2nd this season before. We were if you forget Leicester's fluke season, Arsenal have a Premier League title in the past 3 years.
If you just cut one team out of the Premier League, then Arsenal won the Premier League.
If you forget that they had a fluke season, then Arsenal were the best team in the Premier League that year.
Is this where we talk about how they're the only team to beat Leicester twice that season?
Yes, they are the only team that beat Leicester twice that season. Leicester only had 3 losses, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were 2 of those.
All right.
Arsenal, best team ever in the Premier League. I
think that's a good place to end it, right?
Yes, that's well, you can go never mind. You can go check out another episode wherever the fuck we decide to put this up.
Yeah, we'll have our next episode in a weekish probably.
Yeah, weekish probably. It could be 2 weeks for all we know. We don't know.
This is really organized and definitely going to be long lasting as well.
Yes, definitely, for sure.
Going forward.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep.
See you later.
Bye.